Hello, everybody. What a pleasure to be with you all again. And here we are at the Spiritual Sky, Transcendent Self 1. It's our meditation that we do every Monday. On Thursdays, we do Transcendent 2 and 3, which is an alternation between the Anahata Nad, the inner sound, and the celestial melodies, which is more of a sound bath. We won't be doing it this Thursday, but the following Thursday we will be. So, but here we do the Spiritual Sky, and in many ways it's very eclectic. I guess I haven't used that word. So eclectic. So yes, we just look at different approaches to meditation. So not attached to any one form or another, just what really works for us. But it's just an opportunity more to put ourselves in an environment where we can just let go and relax. I mean, that's the whole idea here. Can we let go and relax? So we just see Elaine with us. Hi, Elaine. Lovely to have you with us. Oftentimes can't make it in person. So here's an opportunity for you to let go and relax. I know that that's a person that's under tremendous pressure. She's a caregiver and she's got a full-time job and she's a mother. And there's a person who's in a whirlwind. So we're sending you our light, Elaine, and our love. And so please use this opportunity to just let go and perhaps just put yourself in a position of just like complete relaxation and peace. Good, there you go. She's settling herself in. And not quite a Zen cushion experience, more like a Beverly Hills housewife cushion experience, just laying back and relaxing. And so I'm really glad you're availing yourself of that. So again, we just deriving from a lot of sources. The movement of spiritual inner awareness that sponsors this, and I'm president of that of the organization, is our approach is more what's called soul transcendence, and our practice is spiritual exercises, which is what we cover more on Thursdays, a very specific meditation practice, more mantra based. But on these Mondays, again, eclectic, we're pulling from all kinds of sources. And, essentially, if it's mantra-based, it's probably going to be more Hindu practice, from India and part of the world. And if it's breath-based, it's going to be more Buddhist practice, which is also actually from India, now that I come to think of it. So a lot of things originated in that region of the world, and of course China as well. But Buddhism came out of India into China and then spread throughout that region and to Japan as well. So many approaches, but we'll look at breath and also meditation experiences. And so, but my teaching is basically the one that I follow is based on John Roger, who again brought together many sources from very ancient teachings from the East and from the West, and put it all together in a wonderful, clear synthesis. So we're going to hear from John Roger now, just two very brief 1-minute excerpts. But in those 1 minute excerpts, he just says a world of experience, and we're going to use those as a kind of a springboard into what we're going to be doing today. So let's hear from John Roger.
The divine presence is exactly that thing that is present everywhere. And I could take you to a radical point of view and tell you that there really is no soul. There really is only this presence that is omnipotent, omnipresent at all times. But we talk about the soul as that individualized energy to give you a sense of well-being, so that you can wave your dilemma away as you rise up in consciousness to find out you are what you have always been, and you are the one you've been looking for. If you're not pleasing yourself by being who you are, I got some sad news for you. That's tough, because that's all there is. If you haven't found that place yet inside of you that is full and brilliant, that's tough, because that's all there is. But when you get there, that's enough, because that's all there is. That's all there is for everybody on all the levels of consciousness. The bright, brilliant radiance of our beingness.
Well, it'll be no surprise to anybody that I played those two excerpts, because I just play them all the time. And the reason I play them all the time is because I just feel that they have the answers to existence within them. This idea that we're bright and full and radiant beings, and is extraordinary, really. So the question is not so much how do we get there, right? I mean, we could just say, well, how do I get to me being a bright, radiant being? The question is, why aren't we there? If that's who we are. Teilhard de Chardin said, as famously said, we're not human beings having spiritual experiences. We're spiritual beings having human experiences. And that kind of just changes everything around, right? It just changes the whole game. So then the whole point is then, well, if we're spiritual beings, and if in a sense we're one with God and we're connected, well, why don't we know that? I mean, what's the problem? And the idea is like, well, I need to get somewhere, I need to become that. And it's like, well, you are already that. That was the first excerpt from John Rogers. So you are already there. So really, in a sense, we could just say that our only problem is getting in our own way, because we are there already. And there's a quote here from Rabbi Bunham. That's in a Bunham, I guess B-U-N-A-M, in an 18th century Hasidic text. Says, "Our greatest transgression is not that we commit sins. Temptation is strong and our strength is slight. No, our transgression is that at every instant we can turn to God, and we do not turn." So that kind of just says a lot about what's going on here. So as we go into this meditation, and we're kind of starting now, really. I mean, when does this start? It's here, it's now, because at every instant, that's where we're going. It's really a moment-to-moment place. And really, meditation starts in this moment. And this is one of my personal approaches, which says that meditation really shouldn't be something that we set aside time to do, as much as every moment can be a meditation. This was from a samurai called Yamamoto Tsunetomo, who said, "A person's whole life is a succession of moment after moment. If one fully understands the present moment, there will be nothing else to do and nothing else to pursue." So as best you can, please just put aside any concerns. Remember, your concerns will be about the future. So we want to drop the future thoughts. And any regrets or judgments will be about the past. So we want to let that past go. And we want to find that space in between. Space between the past and the future. The future is arriving every second, and the past is disappearing every second. So what I just said is gone. As soon as I say it, it's gone. And as soon as I say it, it's arrived. The future is here, past is gone. So we've got this very small sliver where we're between the past and the future. But once we enter into it, we enter into a vast world. It's almost like we pass through a very, very tiny entrance. and then enter a vast, infinite field. So as best you can, we ask for the highest and purest light from the highest and purest source to surround and fill each one of us and the space that we're in for the highest good. Now, it just feels very clear that many of you just entered into that space as we talked about it. And sometimes it can be fleeting. We enter into it and then suddenly we're popped out of it. Perhaps we think of something we need to do, or we think of somebody we were upset with. Again, past and future, future and past. And what we want to find is the space in between. And that space in between, as that quote I just read you from Yamamoto Tsunotomo, said there's nothing else to do, nothing else to pursue. Allow yourself to enter into it. And as we enter into that space, I want you to become aware of something that's called touch and go. And let me read you a quote from Chogyam Trungpa. And Chogyam Trungpa was one of the most influential Buddhist teachers to visit the West. He formed the Naropa Institute, which is in, I believe, in Boulder, Colorado. And he said that we could use the phrase touch and go. You are in contact, you're touching the experience of being there, actually being there, and then you let go. That applies to awareness of your breath and also to your day-to-day living awareness. The point of touch and go is that there is a sense of feel. So if there's something that you think about that doesn't belong to this immediate presence of now, as soon as you try to fight it or even think about it, you're stuck. It's kind of got you. So it's important that there's this fluidness, this fluidity, this openness that keeps things moving. You're not letting anything land, but you can let things touch you. But as soon as they touch and you feel them, then you let it go. There's no time for you to get stuck or attached. So just allow yourself to be touched by whatever experience shows up as you maintain your presence in this space in between past and future. And just be aware that this becomes a healing experience. Now, healing involves reconnecting with our intrinsic health. This is not the same as curing anything. We're saying that health is intrinsic because that means that it is in us already. We are that bright, brilliant, radiant being with an unconditional openness and awareness. This is who we are. And by entering into that in-between, we access that. Occasionally I'll touch a singing bowl just to allow yourself to appreciate resonance, the resonance of being in that place between the past and the future. As you enter into that space in between, allow yourself the luxury of embracing it completely. As you pass through that space, feel that it cleanses you inside. That suddenly, where there was tension, there was a melting away. Where there was a grasping, there was a letting go. You can let any thought touch you, but then you just let it go. So in many ways, it doesn't matter what thought touches you. Perhaps you'd like a piece of chocolate. Touches you, you let it go. You don't resist it. You let it touch you. You let it yourself feel it and you let it go. But not feeling it so much that it begins to consume you, but you don't push it away either. Just touch and let it go. You're not doing anything with anything because your only objective is to maintain yourself in that space between the past and the future. Yomaja tells us that when we go into memory, we're no longer present in the spirit. We're in a contraction of the mind and the emotions, and it actually has no value for us. To gain awareness of soul, you move to each moment of divine beingness. You don't let your mind disturb you, and you don't let your emotions push you around. You just breathe in and breathe out, holding the focus as the present action completes itself. You don't complete it. I don't complete it. The action of spirit completes itself in its own timing. Any thought, any emotion, any bodily sensation is simply noticed and not pushed away. Now, this is the quality of the touch. We allow ourselves to experience fully whatever arises, whatever touches us. If it's jealousy or comparison, we let ourselves feel that for a moment, not holding back. We allow the jealousy to touch us completely, but momentarily. And then we let it go. Like the breath. As the breath dissolves into space, as we breathe out, whatever attention we've put on the breath dissolves along with it. Whatever we have touched or what has touched us, we let go. It's relaxing our hold on things. It's as natural as breathing in and breathing out. And as we maintain that awareness between past and future, as we enter the in-between, we pass through that very small, gossamer thin gap and entering to a universe of openness and possibilities. Unconditional. And we find that we are merging with who we truly are. And we can be inspired by Walt Whitman's words. And I say to any man or woman, let your soul stand cool and composed before 1,000,000 universes. There is a rhythm to this touch and go, or touching and going, touching and letting go. It's just like when we're just naturally breathing. We don't push our breath out or hold our breath. It's the same with all that arises. We can just let it touch us. So we perhaps have that momentary experience, and then we let it go. Many times we allow it to touch us, and for whatever reason we grasp it. We hang on to it and think it over. We make up stories about it and get caught up to the point of forgetting where we are. And that can involve our emotions as our thinking proliferates. And then our body gets involved. It creates this loop. We can spend minutes, hours, days, months, years caught in this loop before we realize where we are. Before someone comes along and touches us and awakens us and says, you are the one you've been looking for. And then we can come back. But it's not just the not letting go. There's also the other side of this where we don't allow ourselves to be touched, rather than allowing ourselves to feel the pain of a heartbreak or disappointment, or the feeling of longing and sadness. We let it go. But this too can be a way of getting lost, not ever really embracing the experience so that it always hangs around us. We don't indulge these things. We just let them come in and let them go out. So this enables us to cultivate an openness and a clarity and a friendliness to our experience. Openness, clarity, friendliness. These are qualities of good health and well-being, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Thomas Merton, the Trappist monk and teacher, said that we have what we seek. It is there all the time. And if we slow down and be still, it will make itself known to us. Again, enter that space, that in-between, between past and future. Pass through that portal into a vast and expansive universe of nowness, where you can let anything touch you, but immediately let it go. And in that vastness, get in touch with the bright, radiant being that you are. Indian mystic Kabir said, "I felt in need of a great pilgrimage. So I sat still for 3 days, and God came to me." In a similar way, I think this is from a novel by Nick Warren. The protagonist says, "I'm fed up of trying to find myself. I'm just going to sit here and wait until I arrive." And the poet T.S. Eliot tells us, "And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." And Ramana Maharshi, the great Indian teacher, tells us that there is no greater mystery than this, that we keep seeking reality, though in fact we are reality. We think that there is something hiding our reality and that this must be destroyed before reality is gained. How ridiculous. A day will dawn when you will laugh at all your past efforts. That which will be on the day you laugh is also here and now. You can begin to come back into the room, come back into a more wakeful state if you wish. Of course, if you're at home, you can do whatever you would like. Continue on, turn off the screen, continue on your meditative journey. But regardless, I hope you realize that there is only now, and that now goes with us, whether we're have our eyes closed, our eyes open, whether we're sitting still or whether we're moving through the world, whether we're in traffic, that now is always now. So you can just gently stretch your fingers and toes and take a deeper breath and open your eyes and come back. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. We have Tea and Overtones at 11 o'clock LA time and the Spiritual Sky at noon. And there's no Thursday meditation this week, but there will be again the following week. And hopefully you're all feeling better. That's my one wish, as you know, for these sessions, is that you just leave the session feeling better than when you came into it. So God bless you all. Feel free to invite your family and friends and anybody else. And remember, we have tea at 11 and the meditation at 12. Although the tea is also a meditation as well, but just of a little bit of a more gourmet one with good tea and good chocolate. But you bring the good tea and you bring the good chocolate. So we'll see you all next week. God bless you all. Thank you. And thank you to our technicians, Paul Wilcox and Chris, and to our lovely host, Stella, and Maria Jose Marignon for translating. Thank you all so much.